Tonight on Texas News Primetime.
A new law will restrict bathroom usage in government buildings and public universities. More about the bill signed into law this past week. An infamous Austin murder may finally be solved. Austin police deliver a long-awaited conclusion to the 1991 yogurt shop murders cold case.
One camper is still missing, but Camp Mystic is pushing forward with reopening. How the parents of those lost are responding to the move.
The Texas State Fair kicked off this weekend. All you need to know about this year's festivities.
And the annual Texas Game Jam took place this weekend. We'll hear from contestants about what makes this competition worth the time crunch. This is Texas News Primetime.
News made for Longhorns.
Good evening. For Monday, September 29th, I'm Elijah Carl.
And I'm Audrey Itz. Thank you for joining us tonight.
You may have heard of the Texas Bathroom Bill, otherwise known as Senate Bill 8. After a decade of failed attempts to pass the bill last Monday, the bill was officially signed into law by Governor Greg Abbott and will go into effect on December 4th. Senate Bill 8 restricts bathroom use in government buildings, public schools, and universities based on an individual's sex assigned at birth. The American Civil Liberties Union, among other major human rights organizations, are remobilizing to legally challenge the bill and have condemned it as unconstitutional, asserting that the bill will encourage quote-unquote gender policing, ultimately leading to the harassment of trans people and non-conforming cisgender people. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating Austin over potential discriminatory hiring practices and diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. The Department of Justice sent notice to Mayor Kirk Watson, citing several phrases on the city's website. Austin city officials are aware of the investigation and confident that the city's policies comply with the law. Neither party can confirm what prompted the investigation or whether any violations were found.
The North Austin yogurt shop murders may finally be solved 34 years after they happened. In 1991, 4 teenage girls were killed in a yogurt shop. The case went cold around 1998, but in recent years there's been a movement to test DNA evidence found on one of the victims, Amy Ayers, with today's genetic genealogy technology. And last Friday, law enforcement confirmed to KVUE they believe they have found the man responsible. Austin PD says the perpetrator was an American serial killer, Robert Eugene Brashears, who died by suicide in a police standoff in 1999. Brashears was previously connected to murders which took place in Missouri and South Carolina throughout the 1990s. Less than 3 months after the Hill Country floods that killed 27 in Kerr County, Camp Mystic officials announced they plan to reopen their Cypress Lake campsite in 2026 in an email sent out to parents last Monday. Several families criticized Mystic's decision, including the parents of an 8-year-old girl who is still missing. Camp Mystic Guadalupe River will not be able to reopen with Cypress Lake due to the damage done earlier this year. In a statement to ABC News, the camp stated that Cypress Lake is a separate property that is not connected to the Guadalupe River, adding that the site sustained no damage from the July 4th flood. The city of Austin is asking residents to vote on plans to revitalize 6th Street. The city is giving residents 3 different plans to vote on. Each proposed option would keep 6th Street a one-way westbound street for vehicles, but would add bike lanes, drop-off zones, or a mix of both to the famous street. City officials say the goal of their revitalization plans is to make the street safer and more welcoming to pedestrians while maintaining the street's nightlife. Construction of these proposed improvements would begin in early 2027. Residents can vote at www.speakupaustin.org until October 19th.
The National Guard will be deployed to Portland, Oregon, as announced by President Donald Trump Saturday. At least 200 members have been authorized to use full force over the next 2 months to protect ICE facilities in Portland that are being targeted by Antifa or anti-fascist protests. Since early June, 26 Antifa-linked individuals have been federally charged in demonstrations at these facilities, including for arson, assaulting police, and resisting arrest. Oregon responded on Sunday by filing a lawsuit against the Trump administration, claiming that the deployment threatens public safety and may lack legal authority. A shooting at an ICE detention facility on Dallas last Wednesday left 1 person dead and 2 in critical condition. According to the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, all 3 victims were detainees in the facility. The shooter, identified as 29-year-old Joshua Jan, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. According to authorities in a press release, the FBI claimed that Jan intended to kill ICE agents, not detainees. This was discovered after a bullet casing was found with the words anti-ice engraved on the shell, and additional notes were found reaffirming the goals of the attack. Jan also conducted extensive research on the facilities beforehand.
Houston businessman Andrew White launched his campaign for governor Wednesday, announcing to run as an independent in the Democratic primary to replace Greg Abbott in 2026. White is the son of former Governor Mark White, with this marking his second bid for governor after he lost the Democratic primary runoff in 2018 to former Dallas County Sheriff Lupe Valdez. White's decision to run for governor again was marked by the flooding in the Hill Country this past summer. According to the Texas Tribune, he believed that there needs to be a change at the highest level.
Several high-ranking staff members of the Texas Democratic Party are quitting their jobs. This comes after Party Chair Kendall Scudder announced the state Democratic Party headquarters will move from Austin to Dallas. Scudder says the move will be beneficial for rallying working-class voters across the state, but some Democrats are criticizing him for threatening staff with demotions or even layoffs if they refuse to relocate by the end of November. The move is worrying some party members about how the sudden move will affect the Democrats in the upcoming midterm elections. The Austin Firefighters Union has reached a new labor deal with the city, ending a multi-week negotiation process. The two sides wrapped up negotiations on Friday, just before the previous contract ended on Sunday. The deal promises to increase wages by at least 3% over 4 years and to reduce hours. The city's first offer did not include an overall pay increase, which stalled the negotiations significantly. The fire union asked for an increase that was competitive with Austin EMS and police. City Council is expected to approve the contract next month.
In a partnership with Austin Public Health, the City of Austin invited residents for a free health screening on Saturday. The annual event gives people who may not have access to health care an opportunity to get examined and treated. KXAN reported the event was centered around Hispanic culture, with live entertainment. According to Austin Public Health, Black and Hispanic residents are almost twice as likely to be diagnosed with diabetes, 57% more likely to die of heart disease, and 34% more likely to die of cancer compared to other races. This event highlighted these problems and promoted health management. Awesome news for Longhorn Nation. UT has now been ranked as the #1 public university in Texas by the U.S. News and World Report. UT has held this position for now going on a second year consecutively. The U.S. News and World Report also holds UT in the top 10 public universities in the entire nation. The World Report ranked a total of 32 undergraduate programs here at UT as #1, with 24 programs being ranked in the top 10 nationally. 6 of those programs remain in the top 5. 3 each are in the business and engineering schools, which ranked in the top 5 nationally. The Federal Trade Commission and 7 states are suing Ticketmaster. The law claims that Ticketmaster is helping resellers secure tickets to resell them on their platform. Ticketmaster then profits from those sales. The lawsuit also alleges that Ticketmaster deceptively advertises tickets at lower prices and fails to impose limits on how many tickets can be purchased for an event. The Federal Trade Commission says these practices violate federal law. Ticketmaster has not responded to the allegations.
The Texas State Fair kicked off in Dallas this weekend. The crowd made it clear that this was the place to be. Expect live music, rodeo, carnival rides, night shows, and plenty of fried treats, from fried butter to actual fried cookie dough. Our iconic 50-foot tall cowboy, Big Tex, welcomed everyone to the classic Texas tradition. The fair runs through October 19th, so don't miss your chance to experience it.
Levitation Festival, also known as Austin Psych Fest, is an annual 3-day event at the Palmer Event Center in Austin, Texas, this year from September 26th through 28th. With lineups on indie, rock, metal, and electronic music, people of many different ages attend this festival for the amazing food trucks, lineups, and different tabling that go on all day. Artists such as La Femme, Acid Bath, and the Black Angels, and many more. Levitation offers numerous day and nighttime shows that many individuals go to have a fun time and celebrate good times with their friends. On Saturday, Austin's Native American Cultural Center opened its doors to the public to celebrate Texas American Indian Heritage Day. The event marks the grand opening of the Cultural Center, located in the former Brook Elementary School in District 2. The Cultural Center is a collaboration with Austin ISD's Native American and Indigenous Education Program. The exhibit was created by the Austin Powwow, the largest gathering of American Indigenous groups in the country. This year's powwow is scheduled for the night of Friday, October 24th.
When we come back, new SEC schedules have been announced, who Texas will be playing next year, and beyond.
and our weather as October begins. PrimeTime will be right back.
Welcome back to Primetime. This past Tuesday, the SEC announced the football schedules for the 2026 through 2029 football seasons. Texas will play Arkansas, Texas A&M, and OU every year, while switching out other SEC opponents every season. Texas fans can look forward to playing Alabama and Georgia away in the 2027 season, and at home in the 2029 season. Texas will also play Tennessee and LSU away in the 2026 season and at home in the 2028 season. The new schedule follows the new SEC rule allowing each SEC team to face every other SEC program once every 2 years, while maintaining 3 annual opponents. You might now remember a few years ago, there was a lot of buzz around the rise of cryptocurrency. Well, since 2021, however, the crypto market has seen an over 50% drop in equity. Now, tstvnews' Joseph Sweeney gives us a closer look at the changes in the crypto market and how the UT community is responding.
I was able to pay off college tuition by trading crypto, so it's been, a means of economic freedom. And for another, it just creates countless job opportunities for myself and others. The crypto market lull just had to do with perhaps, risk-averse investors who saw Bitcoin, for instance, as a risk-on asset, and so chose to sort of dump it and move to like an economic safe haven, the likes of like U.S. dollars, T-bills, gold, etc.
That they don't actually have a legal right to the underlying cash flows of the project. So if the project goes well, the founders may give something back, or they may just take everything. So they don't actually have a legal right like you do with stocks and bonds.
Tune into next week's edition of Texas News Primetime, where TSTV News gives you a closer look at how the UT community is interacting with cryptocurrency.
Last Wednesday, Campus E&E held the Boot Scootin' Bash. It was a night of live dancing and music at the William C. Powers Ballroom. UT students could get in for free with their student ID. The night featured a vinyl giveaway, line dancing class, free food, and a live performance from the Saddle Swords. The event gave students the opportunity to enjoy music, dancing, and campus community. Clinique came to UT last week, hosting an interactive event outside the tower. Students lined up from morning to mid-afternoon to pick up free skincare product samples, tote bags, and other Clinique products. Brand representatives came to educate students about skin health and how to establish a daily skincare routine. The event aimed to promote Clinique products, educate students on skin wellness, and allow engagement with the brand.
This weekend, UT's Electronic Game Developers Society held their annual Game Jam competition at the Gates Dell Computer Science Complex. Students from UT and all over the country came together in person and through the internet to put game design skills to the test. TSTV News' Joseph Sweeney brings us more on how this event is providing an opportunity to aspiring programmers and artists.
It really does seem like an unreasonable ask to make a game within 48 hours.
Camping out in the GDC isn't how most college students prefer to spend their weekend.
A way to motivate people with that strict deadline.
But for competitors at the Texas Game Jam,
I'm not doing this for the prize. I'm not doing this to win.
this one fall semester weekend
This is what I was able to do in this weekend despite all my other projects that were going on at the same time.
unlocks a wealth of opportunity.
Quickest way to have something tangible that you can share with potential employers and say, hey, I've done something.
For over a decade, students from UT and all across the nation come together for this annual competition.
He's going to be obscured by all the NPCs.
Their goal, create a video game from scratch.
I was like, what if we did a twisted Cinderella type of story? We really wanted it to be a story type game where you're interacting with kind of the 7 sins and going through a time loop to see who's murdering you as Cinderella.
And the Game Jam isn't just a place for looking at zeros and ones. These Longhorns say it's a place to develop skills in a variety of arts and disciplines.
For UT senior Ollie Adu Branker, the Game Jam is a place where her and her teammates can test their skills not just in coding, but in artistry as well.
The main character's animation, walking animation, and idle animation, that's kind of what I've been in charge of.
For Ricardo Scaletti, an ACC sophomore and veteran game jammer, the event is a space to teach and lead others through the game development process.
Lead means that you are expected to come up with not only great ideas, but also to make the right calls. It's just high stakes, and you need to handle the pressure of it.
And while the time limit is stressful, Society President Zion Rahman says the crunch is what puts game jammers' hearts in the competition.
Honestly, I feel like for some game jams, I might do more work for that game jam than like something that might last an entire semester.
Joseph Sweeney, TSTV News.
The winners for this year's Texas Game Jam will be announced later this week. The jam saw a total of 88 submissions across Windows, Mac, and Linux, as well as browser-based titles. If you're interested in playing, the full list of games is linked in the YouTube description of this edition of Primetime. When we come back, sunny skies ahead this week. We'll look ahead at this week's weather.
And Texas volleyball's electric sweep of Missouri last Friday. Primetime returns after the break.
Welcome back to Primetime.
Fall is officially here, but fall weather, not so much. Christina Krasnova is here with all you need to know in this week's weather. How are you doing today, Christina?
I'm doing good, especially because we've been seeing a lot of nice weather this week. Good evening, Austin. We're closing out the day with warm temperatures, right around 90 degrees, and partly cloudy skies. As we move into the night, temperatures will gradually drop, with overnight lows settling near 67 degrees. Tomorrow, we're looking at another hot day. Highs will climb right back up into the mid-90s. The lows will stay at the same 67 degrees, and skies will be nice and sunny. Looking at our 7-day forecast, sorry to say, if you were expecting fall weather, it's not time just yet. All throughout the week, the high will stay between 90 and 96 degrees, and the lowest we'll see is 82 over the weekend. There's a 0% chance of rain, and the UV will stay at a solid 8 out of 11 all week. So if you're trying to get a tan before the fall weather does hit, this is the perfect chance.
Thanks, Christina, for prepping us on Austin weather.
When we come back, the Dallas Cowboys and Green Bay Packers Sunday game ends in a tie. Stay tuned for the scoop on the Cowboys' first tied game since 1969.
And Taylor Swift's new album, The Life of the Showgirl, releases this weekend. Primetime will be right back.
Welcome back to Primetime.
It was certainly crazy in the sports world this past week. We turn now to Georgie Ruiz with her analysis on this wild turn of events. How's it going today?
Great. I just got back from the Cowboys vs. Packers game at 9 a.m. today, so we're pushing through it, but it was a really nice weekend of sports. And speaking of sports, Texas volleyball has had its 10th consecutive sweep in a row, and this matchup was nothing short but crazy. In the first set, the Texas Tori Stafford made the statement really early and had the Texas sweep on the 25-18. But then the second set is where everything started going crazy. Missouri did not want to let Texas get another win under their belt. However, with Ellis Wendell taking over the set on this match, it made everything much more exciting. And then the third set came on, and Mizzou was really not wanting Texas to go. With this back and forth, they had an 11-8 run. However, Texas responded with a 5-1, and Ellis Wendell once again and Emma Holzer, the veteran teams of this team, had made the statement and closed it out. The Texas Longhorns are now 10-0, like I had said, and this starts their SEC conference play with 2-0. And technically, they're not the only women's sports Texas that are doing really well right now.
Wow. Well, Texas soccer certainly has some turnaround this week. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, and honestly, all spotlight goes to Amelia Villarreal. On the first half of the soccer game, there's a 0 scoring, but then at the 67th minute, Amelia comes out and does a shocking kicker on the corner and makes the goal and gets Texas on the board early. However, Vanderbilt responded 12 minutes after with a score of their own. And as people thought this was going to be a tied game, a penalty kick to the face to Schuss made the matchup just any more wilder. And whenever we were going to the second half, Amelia Villarreal, like I said, a hero of this game, made the last kick, the penalty kick, which won the Texas Longhorns. And unfortunately, the Vanderbilt could not get it done.
Well, Texas soccer certainly has some turnaround this week. Can you tell us all about it? Sorry. Well, what else is new in the sports world?
Well, moving on away from collegiate sports, we're going to go NFL Pro. The NFL Green Bay Packers versus the Dallas Cowboys had a tying game, the second highest in NFL history. It seemed to be a Packers game since the beginning, with them getting on the board first and keep coming up early. However, with a blocked kick from the Dallas Cowboys with the Packers for an extra point, got the Dallas Cowboys on the board. However, things started wrapping up at the second half with Dallas scoring and Packers responding and going back and forth, and neither team wanted to let go. And this is even a bigger deal as Micah Parsons, who was recently traded to the Packers from the Dallas Cowboys, made his debut back in Jerry Jones's world. However, due to the new rules of NFL, it had to end in an overtime tie with 40-40. Like I said, this is the second highest scoring tie in NFL history, and definitely put a statement out there. Michael was not happy, saying that if Dak Prescott wasn't on his A game, it would have been a different story. However, the Packers and the Cowboys did make up some ground, and it's good to see how they're going to be going on the rest of the season.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Georgie, for keeping us up to date on all things sports.
Thank you so much for having me.
When we come back, Tate McRae surprised fans by releasing a new single last weekend. Hear more about the song and fan reactions.
And Selena Gomez and Benny Blanco got married in Santa Barbara. More on their wedding and celebrity guests. Primetime will be right back.
Welcome back to Primetime.
This week, exciting new music drops and a high-profile celebrity marriage. Mareva Valier is here to talk about what you need to know in music, movies, and more. How are you doing today, Mareva?
I'm doing great, thank you very much. And be sure to check in on your Swiftie friends this week. In fact, Taylor Swift's 12th studio album, Life of a Showgirl, will come out this Thursday, October 3rd. The album, announced back in August, has 12 songs and is expected to be more upbeat and pop-oriented than her previous few albums. Swift is celebrating the release by hosting the official release party of The Life of a Showgirl, October 3rd through October 5th, in movie theaters. At the party, she will release the music video for The Fate of Ophelia, the album's debut single, and other behind-the-scenes content from making the album, which was made while Swift was on the Eras tour.
So, are you excited about the release of this new album?
Oh, don't tell me, I'm super excited. Actually, I have many friends that are, Swifties fans, so we've been following her since her beginnings, actually. So, quite exciting, yeah.
Kidding.
So, Tate McRae released a surprise song called Tit for Tat last week on September 26, while she is currently on her Miss Possessive tour. Her new song was a direct response to her ex-boyfriend, Kid Leroy's new song, A Cold Play, which was released 3 weeks prior. So the song expresses her betrayal and disbelief that her boyfriend is not who she thought he was, and questions his behavior. Fans interpreted this song as her perspective of their breakup and as a sign to move towards emotional detachment and self-respect that McRae has for herself.
What do you think about expressing your feelings through a song?
Yeah, I think that's a really powerful way to express your feelings. Many artists did that in the past, and yeah, I think it's really nice.
Well, thank you so much, Marieva.
Thank you.
And that's your Monday briefing. For more before our next show, be sure to follow Texas News Primetime on social media.
And check out our website at tstvnews.com.
Signing off, I'm Elijah Carl.
And I'm Audrey Itz. From all of us at TSTV News, thank you for watching.
Now go out and change your world.